How's it going, everybody? Got another tobacco review today. Smoking in my little Winslow Billiard. It's a pretty nice little pipe. Interesting little rustication on it. But pretty good, well executed shape. I think when I bought this pipe, they were going for right around $100. I think they're still pretty close to that. They may be a little bit more. It's the Winslow Crown. Really good smoking pipe. I have come to really rely on it as a good smoker. Pretty much smoke Virginias and Periques, Virginia-Periques or straight Virginias out of it. Really nice bit, thin, comfortable, good bit. And we're smoking Sutliff 1849, I believe it is. Let me grab the tin for you. Yeah. I don't know why I was blanking on the name. 1849. It's a Virginia-Perique. It doesn't say there's anything other than that in it. It says a little bit of bright Virginia, a little bit of red, or some sweet Virginia, and 2 cuts of Perique. 2 cuts of Perique. Aesthetically, this is a perfect Virginia blend. I've never really, I haven't really messed around in the Sutliff line too much. I think I've only smoked a couple of their blends. I like this one better than the other one. I think the other one I tried was like the Kringle cake or Kringle flake or whatever it was. I don't remember exactly. It's kind of interesting. I kind of put this between like an HH Acadian or an Elizabethan and like an Escudo or a capstan. It's not as sweet and grassy as like a capstan or an Escudo, but it's not like as earthy and mushroomy as a like Elizabethan was for me. Another thing this blend highlighted for me was the importance of allowing a tobacco to breathe. This tobacco was only 3 years old when I opened it, but first like probably 4 or 5 smokes just were not that good. Just steamy. Even if I let it dry out, kind of fluff it up and let it dry out a little bit, just wasn't that good. Just kind of unremarkable. Not bad, just kind of unremarkable. But the longer I had the tin open, the better it got. And when I mean longer, I had the tin open. What I mean is the further I got away from when I cracked the tin. So I'd open it, I'd smoke it, 3, 4, 5 times a week. And so it seemed like, every week it got a little bit better. It's probably been open for about a month. Month or two. Even though I could tell it was getting better, it still kind of wasn't like super remarkable. It was just sort of like, it's pretty good, For me, The red Virginias and the Perique really stand out. I like red Virginias. I don't like, a dominating red Virginia blend, but I like a good red Virginia when it's nice and fruity, sweet, and bready. This I wouldn't say is like real fruity. I'd say it's more bready. Perique's definitely there. You feel it on the nose. You get the pepper. You get the spice. It's pretty nice. One thing I don't get a lot in this, which I get in a lot of other Virginia-Perique blends, is like that sort of like nutmeg, or like sometimes like maybe like a cinnamon or a clove, like those other kind of spices and nuances. Usually, sometimes you get those kind of notes, and those are the kinds of things I like to look for because I think it makes it more interesting. There's nothing wrong with it. I would just call this like a pretty straightforward Virginia-Perique blend. Like, it's just pretty straightforward. There's not a whole lot. You're not really looking for a whole lot there other than, a little bit of the bright Virginia, that red Virginia, and the Perique. There's not really a whole lot extra going on. But it burns pretty well. Smokes pretty good. I mean, for me, it's probably not something that I'm gonna, you know, buy a whole lot of. I might buy it again, but I don't know, maybe not. I'm kind of on the fence on whether or not I want to buy it again. The thing is, like, if I'm gonna spend money on something, I'm gonna wait until the things are in stock that I know that I really like in terms of like Virginia-Periques, and I'll buy those again. So right now, I kind of, buy things that I've never tried, or I open things that I've never tried because I think it would be interesting for to make a video for, or maybe I've been curious and I want to try it. That's fine. Um, but yeah, like I said, I think it's pretty much like just a pretty straightforward Virginia-Perique. If you're maybe new into the pipe smoking thing and you're curious about the Virginia-Perique genre, maybe you've only been smoking drugstore blends, or maybe you've only been smoking aromatics, or whatever you've only been smoking, and you're curious about this. I think this gives you like a good, like, middle of the road kind of. Like I said, it's kind of between like the Virginia-Periques that are more like earthy and mushroomy and sort of not what I would consider like very like Virginia forward sweetness. And it's between like, that and like, the capstans or the Orlet Golden Slice or the Rainer Long Golden Flake. So it kind of gives you like a good like idea of like a middle of the road Virginia-Perique, in my opinion. Because, I mean, as we all know, tobacco blends aren't all created equal. Like, my general like blends of choice would be Virginias or Virginia-Periques. But that's not across the board. Like, I'm not a big fan of H.H. Acadian from McBaron, and I'm not a big fan of Elizabethan from formerly Dunhill, now Peterson. So, not all blends are created equal. Just because it says it has Virginia-Perique doesn't mean, or just because it says it's Virginia-Perique doesn't mean, you're going to like it, even if you like Virginia-Periques. If a blend says it has burley in it, doesn't mean you're necessarily going to like it just because it has burley, and, maybe you really love burley. Well, maybe you won't really love that one. but I've been enjoying it. I think for me, it's been a good blend to sort of, watch a movie or do stuff around out here. It's not really something that I'm sitting down and really contemplating. I have done that, and I've tried to sort of pick out little nuances, little things here and there, and it's just there's not really much going on that I'm getting. So and it's good. You need tobaccos like that in your rotation to be able to just say, I want to do something else, but I also want to smoke a pipe. And that's kind of that this one for me fills that kind of niche pretty decent. So I'm coming down to the end on a few tins of tobacco that I've got. So this was the last bowl of this tin, and I got another. What else do I got over there? I got GLP's Stonehenge. I got a few more bowls of that left, so probably do a review on that, or a tasting session or video or whatever in the next week or so. I've got. I'm pretty sure I have a tin of GLP's Westminster open. Pretty sure it's the Westminster. I don't know. I forget. There's a few that I thought about opening when I opened that one, and I'm pretty sure it was Westminster that I opened. So those are probably going to be the next two coming down the pike. So if you're interested in my thoughts on either of those, stick around. Let me know. They'll be coming, so keep your eye out for those. I think, what else do I have open? I got a tin of C and D Oak Alley open right now, and I just opened a tin of Formers. I think it's the Bird's Eye Flake. So that one won't be for a little while because I just opened it, but it's one of those things where I've been experimenting. I've been, thinking about more. Like, I've noticed more when I open a tin versus halfway through a tin versus at the end of the tin, and it seems pretty consistent to me when I think back that I tend to enjoy the tobacco more once it's been open for at least a couple weeks. And I think it's just like I think at first I thought, well, maybe I'm just understanding it better, or I'm picking out nuances, or I'm whatever the case. I think it really has to do with allowing the tobacco to breathe. So I would encourage everyone out there to, say your normal tin number to have open is 5. I usually try to keep mine between 4 and 6. I got jars too, but I don't really count those because they're not going anywhere. They're sealed up, so I can dip into them here and there, and that's not a problem. But I usually try to have between 4 and 6 tins open generally. Where I live, the climate, I can have them open for a month or two, or even a little bit longer, and they don't dry out. Most of the time, in my opinion, tobacco comes a little bit damp in the tin. I would say 80 to 90% of the time it's a little damp on the damp side, and then I would say 5 to 10% of the time it's perfect, and then another 5 to 10% is maybe a little bit drier than I would probably prefer. So for me, it's it's a pretty good idea. What I started doing probably the last 6 months or so is, if I know I'm nearing the end on a tin or two of tobacco, I won't wait until a tin is empty before I go open a new one. I'll actually go get the new one, open it, and then leave it open for a week or two while I'm finishing the other tins, and then it's kind of already you know, hopefully it's kind of already getting to the point of where I like it when it's like more of like mid-10. Um, and a couple times a week, I'll open the tin up, kind of fluff the tobacco up, maybe take it out, kind of fluff it up a little bit, let some, you know, really oxygenate that tobacco, and then put it back in the tin, and then put the lid back on for, you know, a couple days, and then do the same thing. I don't know, it could be all in my head, but I feel like it makes a difference. So I would encourage you guys out there to maybe try that as well and see what you think. If you've noticed the same thing that I noticed, where you tend to like the tobacco more as you move through the tin and the longer it's open, I'd be interested in your guys' thoughts on that. Or if you've been doing this for years and you're like, yeah, dude, like that's common knowledge. I don't know. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Sutliff 1849 and, you know, how you feel about, I guess we'll call it aerating your tobacco before you smoke. And, you know, just let's, I'm interested in hearing other people's thoughts on that, because it's just sort of anecdotal for me now. But if I got a bunch of people, like I said, having the same opinion, then it's kind of more, you know, it's sort of a, more of a validation of sort of what I've been recognizing. So other than that, probably have another review coming soon. I did commission a pipe a few months ago. I just got word that it's done. Should be on its way. If it's not on its way already, it'll probably, you know, be on its way here in the next week. So I'm super excited about it. It's my first pipe that I've actually ever commissioned, where I actually contacted a pipe maker and said, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking for. And so really, really, really excited about that. We kind of went a different direction. They, you know, the pipe maker contacted me and, you know, kind of had something in the works, and I was afraid that it was going to be like far too small. And I like small pipes, but I was afraid it was going to be far too small. So we kind of had a conversation about that, and I was like, you know, I said, hey, well, you know, I'll take it if, you know, if I need to, whatever. If you think you can sell it somewhere else, then you want to maybe, you know, start again. Part of that was a big part of that was my fault, not having experience in the commission process. Not being more like specific, I think, about size. I wanted the pipe maker to, I gave just a general, I gave a shape, and I just said colors, you know, styling, anything like that. You know, I want you to have artistic freedom on that. And I said, you know, I generally, you know, like smaller pipes. I don't remember exactly what I said exactly, but this was like, this would have been like probably the smallest pipe I had. And it would have been much smaller. It would have been about the same size as my smallest pipe now, or smaller. And you know, I felt real bad, but they were super cool about it, and they were like, yeah, no problem. You know, they're like, I'll have no problem selling it or whatever. So so they gave me another stab at it. And so I just got saw photos of it the other day and got dimensions, and I think it's gonna be perfect. So super excited about that. I've been kind of saving for a commission for a while. So it was no problem there. And so yeah, so we'll see when that comes. I'll show it to you guys. Really excited about it, and we'll see what happens. Otherwise, look out for a review of probably Stonehenge, GLP Stonehenge, in the next week or so. So I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for staying patient. If you made it this far in the video, appreciate you sticking through with the ramblings. And I'll see you next time. All right? Adios.